Let's talk about something that no one is really talking about, building a sports card collection on the Panini blockchain. Because when I see cards like the PSA 10 Wembenyama Kaboom sell for $15,000, I can't help but think to myself, if they only knew what kind of collection that you could build right now for that same $15,000. Why own one incredible Wemby card when you can build an entire collection? In most cases cheaper, and in some cases even more scarce. And this isn't just a theory, I'm speaking from experience. I recently bought a Caitlin Clark rookie card Kaboom on the Panini blockchain for $3,522. That NFT has a supply of only 23. In the physical world, the PSA 10 population is 38, and it just went up again this week, with 53 graded copies total. And the PSA 10 sold for $15,000. You see the disconnect? But this isn't just about price or scarcity. There's a bigger collecting idea here. So let me show you exactly what I mean. Let's jump on the Panini blockchain. So here we are on the Panini blockchain. Now, first things first, I want to jump straight to that Wemby Kaboom we were just talking about, because it makes sense if that was the physical card that you were looking to add to your collection, that should be the first card that you want to add to your Panini blockchain collection too, so we can kind of get that out of the way. Here it is with a recent sale of $1,525, and there is a quick buy, like you can buy it right now for $1,999. There is a total remaining supply, a max supply of 25. So there will never be any more than 25 of this Wemby Kaboom card on the blockchain. Now, by comparison, the PSA 10 that just sold for $15,000, there is a pop of only 6. But however, if you look at the macro sense of these two marketplaces, there are 70 graded Wembenyama Kabooms in this Revolution vertical series, where there's only 25 total minted on the Panini blockchain. So yes, you can't really compare this apples to apples when it comes to the in reference to the PSA 10, but total scarcity, the physical will never compete with the NFT because that will continue to go up while the NFT is capped at 25. We take a look at recent sales. I mean, even if you bought it now at $1,999, we're off to a good start. There's still 13,000 left to build your collection from. But let's just try to get a realistic price on this, and I'll be conservative with it. The past, it looks like 2 months, it's ranged anywhere from $1,400 to $1,950. You know, let's say if we flirted with the offers, if we got it around $1,800, that might be conservative. You might be able to get it for less, maybe a little more, but let's just say $1,800 with our first purchase of our Wemby collection on the blockchain. And let's just move on from there. And where are we going to move on is basically we're going to keep with this theme. So if you're trying to collect Wemby and you're going with the Kaboom, then I assume you like both Wemby and Kabooms, which is fair. So we're going to go look for the Wemby rookie card Kaboom. We're going to see if we can add that to the collection, because that would be pretty great to kind of get 2 Kabooms for the price of 1. So if we look at this, now this is obviously going to trade at a little more money. The recent sale was $4,500. The floor price is at $5,500. The total remaining supply is 36. Now let me explain. There were 47 that were intended to be minted of this particular NFT. As you can see here, 11 have been burned. So that means the remaining supply has officially changed to be maxed out at 36. So the most that you're ever going to see of this particular NFT is 36. Now, by comparison, and the PSA pop on this particular card is pretty funky. I'll admit, there's 1 PSA 10, 0 PSA 9s, and the population really starts at PSA 8. Now, there are 23 current PSA 8s of this particular card in the physical world, and one of them just sold recently for 18,700. Now that, I mean, I get that seems like a lot to spend on a modern day PSA 8. Now I get it. I get the nuance. There's no PSA 9s and there's 1 PSA 10. But still, the fact that you're spending that amount of money on a PSA 8 when you don't know what the population's going to change to in the future, that it's a little scary to me. So with this, knowing the max supply is 36, current ask is 55, recent sale 45, let's just make this easy. Let's put it right in the middle. You got it for 5,000. I would probably test the floor since the recent sale was $4,500. Um, after coming down from 5,500 about 4 months ago, I would, test to see was 45 just an outlier sale of that cheap, or are they selling for back towards maybe what they were in early October over the summer, possibly in the 4,000 range, and then maybe work my way up from there. But just to be conservative and to keep this rolling, let's just say 5,000. So right now, we have both Kabooms, about one for 18, about the other for 5. We're in 6,800. And then let's go Wemby shopping for another top card on the blockchain. And this one's probably going to surprise you if you're not really familiar with the Panini blockchain. Because in the physical world, this is like a true grail. It's an official one of one, but on the blockchain, they minted more of them. So they're actually accessible to the collector on the Panini blockchain. And that is the Choice Nebula Rookie Wemby rookie card. I said rookie multiple times there, but you get the picture. In the physical world, this is a one of one, and it just sold for over $860,000, which is nuts, but I get it. This recent sale was $2,500, and there's a current floor price of a buy it now at $2,900. Now, the supply of this will be capped at 49. So there's only 49 of these NFTs on the blockchain, but also a far cry from the one of one. But the cool thing about the blockchain is that it's not always about getting it for cheaper. It's not always about finding it to be more scarce. The fact is that if you're building a Wemby collection and you just want the most iconic cards in that collection, well, we've gotten both the Kabooms. Now we can get a Nebula that for 99.99999 whatever percent of collectors out there in the world will never even have the chance to either see or collect the one of one Nebula that went for almost $1 million. You can come to the blockchain and buy one now and add it to your collection for 2,900. Now, could you get it for cheaper? Well, let's take a quick look, because there was a recent sale at 2,500. Before that, everything was trending towards the mid, I'd say 2,700 to 3,000. Pretty consistent. I mean, going back to even in October, this was going for upwards of $4,000 to $5,000. So, at $2,900, I can't necessarily argue with it. I would still probably test that floor, since the last few sales have kind of trickled down, to see if there's another sale below that, and then kind of work my way up from there. But even if we clock it at $2,900, we have already collected a Wemby Revolution Kaboom, a Wemby rookie card Crown Royal Kaboom, and Nebula, which before watching this video, you probably think you had no chance of ever collecting. Totaling in the physical world, these three cards would be close to $1 million. Now, I get it. It's a one of one PSA. I understand the nuances of it, but the fact is that if you're a collector and you just want to collect Wemby, and you just want to collect these amazing inserts or cool cards, the blockchain offers that avenue for you just to have a collection that you never thought you'd have, because it would cost you at least $1 million. Now, in the Panini blockchain, with real scarcity, real transparency, you can own all three of these for just under 10,000. Now, right now, that's where we're standing. We're standing just under $10,000 out of the 15,000 that you were thinking about purchasing, let's say, for that PSA 10 Wemby Revolution Kaboom. So, in my mind, honestly, we can take a look real fast. I would probably stop here. You have three iconic cards to start your collection on the blockchain of Wemby. Like I said before, in the physical world, totaling almost $1 million. I get it. $5,000 left in your account to kind of think of what your next move is, where you kind of envision your collection being on the blockchain, kind of getting familiar, like I said, with the Nebulas being out of 49 and out of one of one. Then you have $5,000 to kind of take some time, take a step back, and see what you want to do from there. However, there's one alternative thing that you can do, in my mind, It depends on the type of collector you are. Now, if you went all in on the 15,000, you're like, I don't really want to like, nickel and dime myself and have 5,000. I want to go, if I'm going to be on the Panini blockchain, I have $15,000 to do it. And I'm going to cross over from getting a PSA 10 in the physical world. I want to jump in the deep end. I want to go all in. My suggestion might be at that point to go, I clicked the wrong one. We'll go back to go for gold. This is the Wembenyama Kaboom that you wanted in the physical world in the silver or in just the case hit version. This is the gold out of 10. If you really want to go for it, the previous sale was 13,000. The buy it now is 15,000. It's in your budget. Now, if we look at the sales history, now these are always tricky. I'm sure it's like this in the physical world too, but when you get into this high-end, really scarce card or NFT, once the real high-end collectors get it in their hands, they don't really let it go. So the sales and the comping of this can be very tough because as you see, there was a steady increase, 5,000, 6,500, 7,000, 13,000, and now we're at 15,000. So again, with something like this, you don't have to rush it. You can take your time. You can kind of start to see where that new floor is and work your way up to see what you're comfortable with paying for this particular NFT. But just to put this in perspective, a PSA 9 of this in the physical world just sold for over $90,000. PSA 9. So getting one of these NFTs between, let's say, $10,000 to $15,000, this is thought to be a grail on the blockchain, just like it is in the physical world. So that's another alternative that you can play with. Now, in my personal collecting style, I go with the first option. I take the 3 Wimbys that would cost, okay, I won't even go there again, but it would cost a lot in the physical world to obtain. Almost, let's call it impossible to get the Nebula. I'd have that in my collection and I'd have $5,000 left over that then I could choose to kind of build my collection because I'm just starting out on the Panini blockchain. However, if you're the type of collector that in the physical world always thought that, the gold is what you really wanted, but you always thought it would be unobtainable, well, now it's obtainable. So maybe you go that route. After watching this, what do you think? Would you still stick with the physical PSA 10? Is that where the safe money is? Is that where you want to, have your collection to remain in the physical PSA 10 world? Or is it enticing at all to cross this over and start building that Wimby collection on the Panini blockchain and actually either add to what you could or scale up and level up and get like a gold Kaboom Wimby for the same price you could get a PSA 10 silver case hit? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, then you might like this one that I did where I talked about why I'm still buying NFTs in 2026. You can see I've gone over some of the reasons here. There's also some more, so make sure you watch that video. And if you like all of this content about sports card NFTs, make sure you subscribe here to Card Block. That's all I talk about. I'll see you next time.